Hello, everybody. It's the 5th of July. For those of you in the US, I hope you survived the 4th of July and enjoyed the fireworks.
I hope you survived
everything else that's happening.
The 4th of July.
So I have
enjoyed
the fireworks.
I hope you survived
everything else that's happening.
The 4th of July.
I think I do. Let me know if if the audio doesn't work. I have no way of getting feedback. So anyway, shout out to Patreon and Gnarly Quinn. Double audio. What does that mean? All good. Good. And this is brought to you by request of Patreon. I did my first face-off last week. This is number 2 in the series, and the Patreon community votes on exactly what they want. And a shout out to Gnarly Quinn as well, that pumped this one to the top. This is the Cardano versus Fantom face-off. Battle for blockchain supremacy. And remember, this, all I'm doing is sharing data and analysis of data in a completely impartial, objective manner. I'm giving you the tools to see exactly how to analyze crypto and everything else. But we also know that crypto is irrational, just like stock markets, but even more so. So folks aren't exactly looking at fundamentals yet, but we do. So we're ready to see exactly which chains will win the future. And I'm excited for this one. Big thank you to the mods in the chat out there too. And a disclaimer, by the way, this is not financial advice. This is edutainment. In fact, I don't own either. So, people will say, oh, he's pumping his own bags. No, I have no, what do they say? I have no dog in this hunt or something. Whatever the saying is. Anyway, let's jump in. And if you want to amplify your intelligence, I guarantee you, nowhere else on planet Earth will you find this information across all the assets you need to know about. And the story as well is real simple. I took all the data. We spent a lot of time over the last year and a half building stuff. One is, the Compendium, SCP Profiler, the IA engine, where we pull in literally 69 sources of data and create ratios on this data. We're just going to look at the top 30 today. So let's look at the 30,000 foot view or 10,000 meter view of what these two are. First of all, Fantom is a DAG and Cardano is a proof of stake blockchain. So some people would argue that a DAG is not a true blockchain, but that's a separate issue. I'm not going to get into that right now. Coding language, Rust versus Haskell. One of them is like chewing glass, and the other one is the best programming language in the world, according to people like Elon Musk and Jack Dorsey. I'll let you figure that one out too. Transaction speed, 1 to 2 seconds for Fantom, 20 to 30 seconds for Cardano. Transaction cost, 2 cents versus 17 cents. Scalability, Fantom is more scalable than Cardano, but Cardano is working on some future scalability. And Charles said in November 2021 that they expect to get to 1 million TPS, but we've yet to see that come. Anyhow, the ecosystem is growing for both communities, very active. In fact, the Cardano community is extremely active. Decentralization, Fantom is not so decentralized, whereas Cardano is very decentralized, and the price very close to each other. So let's see where this is going to be a fun journey, especially for those that like data. And again, you can also create your own scorecard if you like, and I'll share the scorecard later as well on Patreon. This is now math engine time. Everything that we do on this channel is based on data. Zero emotion, zero tribalism, whatever. So let's start at the beginning. First of all, daily active users, and I'm going to go through a lot of these numbers, okay? Comparing each one in the face-off. This is from the SCP Profiler. This is the daily active addresses. You can see Cardano has 61,885 daily active users, daily active address, whatever you want to call it. And Fantom, 93,668. And as you know from this channel, I see blockchains in many different ways, but I break it down to being like a shopping mall. You want a lot of foot traffic in your mall. Next is a kind of a longer term view of the active users. It's really weird that both blue lines, but the bolder blue line is Fantom at the top and Cardano is the thinner blue line at the bottom. Sorry about that. But you can see here a visual representation. The actual Fantom users have come down a slight touch, and Cardano was up and down, but it kind of hovers around 60,000 daily active users going back months and months. Sometimes 50, sometimes 80, but normally around 60. So let's talk about distance from all-time high. This number was so bizarre. look at this. They are both exactly 91% from their all-time highs. And you'll see here, actually, people may see that minus 79% above that. That is the median distance from all-time high of the top 500 cryptos, by the way. So if you take the whole basket of the top 500 cryptos, these two are doing worse than the median of the average, which is bizarre. But it's interesting, they're both exactly at the same level. Let's look at tech capability. So one of the things we look at too is block time, time to finality, and theoretical max transaction per second. You have your block time, 20 seconds for Cardano, 2 seconds for Fantom. Time to finality, 5 seconds versus a fraction of a second for... No, time to finality is 5 minutes versus 1 second for Fantom. And then theoretical max TPS, 250 versus 4,500 for Fantom, 250 for Cardano. And I know people will say, well, Cardano can fill many transactions in each transaction. But yes, we'll talk about that later. When you look at the actual number of daily active users and the actual transactions per user, you'll see that doesn't really matter. Let's talk about decentralization. Nakamoto Coefficient. You can see here Cardano has 22, which is a very good score. It's in the top 10 of all kind of cryptos. And Fantom, 3. So this is not good, especially when it comes to things like SEC scrutiny. You don't want things that are kind of centralized. You want things that are decentralized. So Fantom falls down in this particular score. And by the way, at the very end, I'll have my usual 30-point composite, so you'll be able to see how everything ranks. So, but if you're taking score yourself, go ahead. Weekly core developers, Cardano has 96, Fantom has 10. So you can see 10 is red, and that's not good. So Cardano crushes it on the development side, which is a big positive for Cardano. Let's look at market cap divided by daily transactions. This one is interesting. So we have $130,000 of market cap per transaction for Cardano, which is high. Not as high as Ethereum, which is actually a little bit higher, but it's still very high. And Fantom is only $2,980 per transaction. That's how much market cap they have. So that's a very good score. And that's how you can kind of judge if something is fairly valued or not, according to me. But again, I'm the only one that kind of looks at these things. So let's look at stablecoin market cap. You've got $13.468 million worth of stablecoins on Cardano and $352 million worth of stablecoins on Fantom. So you can see here, Fantom is obviously doing more in the whole realm of DeFi, etc., which is where I believe the most valuable use case will be for things like layer ones in the future. Let's look at market cap over total value locked. This is a 62 number for Cardano, $62 worth of market cap for every dollar worth of total value locked. You do not want this number to be high. You want it to be very low. And in fact, a perfect number would be close to like $1 of market cap for every dollar of TVL. But TVL is not the be-all and end-all, but Fantom crushes it here with $4 of market cap for the total value locked, which is a much better score. Let's look at market cap over daily active users. You got the dollars of market cap for Cardano is 162,000, and for Fantom it's 9,000. Again, the lower the better. You see a very good green color here and a little bit of pink for Cardano, which is bad. We try color code things so you can get a better visual, whether it's a positive or a negative. Let's look at market cap over daily fees. Now, this is here you can see the market cap divided by the daily transaction fees, which this model also calculates, $1.256 million worth of market cap divided by fees versus 124,000. So you could argue, again, Fantom is 10 times cheaper or more value for money based on the amount of fees that it generates. Thank you, Dave, out there. I see you up in Canada. So when you look at a blockchain, you have to understand how much they actually generate over time to survive, because they do need to make fees. And the more users, the more transactions per user, the more breadth of dApps that drives the whole revenue generation piece. And if they don't generate revenue, they're not going to survive. It's that simple. Now, market cap over developers. Here, per developer, there's $13.6 million of market cap per developer and about $7 million of market cap per developer. But we did see how few developers Fantom has Cardano has nearly 10x the number of developers, but still, this ratio, Fantom actually wins as well, because you want this number to be as low as possible. Let's talk about average transaction fees. They are 17 cents for Cardano and 2 cents for Fantom. Again, they're still a lot more expensive than other chains like Solana, but also a lot cheaper than other chains like Ethereum and some of the layer 2s as well. Let's talk about daily transaction fees, totaling it all up. Cardano brings in about $7,986 in fees a day, whereas Fantom takes in about $6,800. This is super close, almost a draw. The average of fees that come in for all of the layer 1, layer 2s is $38,653. So these two are way under the typical average of all chains. Let's look at Cardano versus Fantom, total value locked. You can see here, Cardano has $161 million in total value locked versus Fantom has $196 million. So it has a slight edge there, which is, again, another win for Fantom as we go forward. Let's look at DEX volume. Here, again, very tight. The average DEX volume for all of the layer 1s is about 6 million. The Cardano DEX volume is slightly under that, about 5.7 million. And Fantom is about 8.7 million, a little bit higher. Again, slight edge to Fantom. These are very, 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 very close. Let's look at daily transactions over daily active users. How many transactions typically per user per day? And you can see here it's 1.2 per Cardano and 3 for Fantom. You have other chains as well that do a lot more. People are a lot more active, using DEXs, trading NFTs, etc. But this is one to look at, and this is one we want people to be much more active, not just going in and doing one thing a day. You want many, many activities per day on a chain. Next is circulating supply. Here, the average circulating supply of all tokens, the top 500, is 83%. But Cardano has only 78% circulating. Fantom is 88% circulating, which means it's nearly all issued. And again, the higher the number, the better. So the slight edge here goes to Fantom as well. Let's talk about the crypto compendium score. This is an amalgamation of tons and tons of different data points. Cardano has the edge here at 7.25. Crypto compendium score, one of the best compendium scores, by the way, of any token. And Fantom has a score of 6. But remember, the key thing to note here is this thing called the Lindy effect. The longer a crypto is out there, the lower, or the better, the higher, the crypto compendium score will be. And of course, Cardano has been around a lot longer than Fantom. So that's a big part of this as well. Let's talk about social following for those who may or may not care. Cardano has a bigger community and a much bigger social following, 842,000 Twitter followers versus Fantom only 498,000. But that's still a hell of a lot. But again, this is a good indicator as to the strength of the Cardano community out there. As we all know, it's very strong. Let's look at the Cardano chart over the last year or so, a couple of years going back to 2021. And you can see here, they had that big pump up to $3. And ever since then, it's been kind of a downward spiral, hence the 91% from the all-time high. So, but overall, looks a bit messy, but that's typical of many of the actual tokens out there right now. Let's look at the Fantom chart, little double top. Not dissimilar, but actually holding up a little bit better over the last year or two, which is surprising. Again, it did have that huge blow off top. And again, these two are both 91% from their all-time highs, and you can't make this stuff up. It's quite remarkable to see that coincidence in numbers. But let's look at another chart. I always say everything is a pair, and you get a much better picture, not from looking at this or this, but this pair. This is Fantom over Cardano over the last 2.5 years, and you can see Fantom is up 2,000% in the last 2.5 years compared to Cardano. So it is far outperformed. If you were sitting on a bag of Fantom or sitting on a bag of Cardano, you did a lot better on your Fantom. And that's what the chart tells you. Just data. Let's look at percentage of ETH market cap, another stunning statistic. Cardano makes up about 4.42% of the ETH market cap, and Fantom is 0.38% of the ETH market cap. So it is far, far, far smaller. In fact, it's 1/12 of the size. which is a very, very big difference. Let's look at the breadth of dApps. This is another important factor I look to look at, is do they have kind of all cylinders running for the blockchain? You know, wallets and DEXs and all that type of stuff, NFT chains, games, whatever. You can see here, Cardano has lending and borrowing and launchpad and stablecoins and synthetics, derivatives, and oracles, graphs, payments, wallets, DEXs, NFT gaming, and a few other random things as well. So that is very good. We like to see that. Let's look at Fantom. They also have a lot of breadth. In fact, slight edge and more breadth, but not as many dApps. But they do have a lot of stuff around exchanges and DeFi, which I believe are much better for grabbing value from the actual blockchain itself and accreting value to fees, etc. Because things like DEX fees and exchange fees generate a lot more cash than, say, NFT trading to a large extent, and they especially will over time. So this one is kind of a draw to me, but considering I'm a finance guy, I like the actual dApps that are built around finance, DEXs, etc. Let's look at the overall rank summary. So this one takes into account each little bucket here, like technology rank, development activity rank, adoption rank, growth opportunity rank, take into account sometimes between 15 and 35 different parameters. And you can see here, this is the ranking of where they stack up against the top 28 smart contract platforms. Unfortunately, technology, Cardano gets dinged. It's ranked 26 out of 28 because the technology is not easy to use. Fantom scores 10 out of 28, so not too bad. Development activity, Cardano's right up there. They have a lot of development activity. They rank 8 out of the top 28, whereas Fantom does not have a lot of development activity. So Cardano wins that one. Adoption, 16, ranked number 16 out of 28 for Cardano, 12 out of 28 for Fantom. There's more adoption, more use of the Fantom chain than the Cardano chain. And then the growth opportunity rank, which one has the most upside? Because that's why we're in this game, ladies and gentlemen. Out of the top 28 smart contract platforms, layer 1s, layer 2s, Cardano ranks 17 out of 28, and Fantom ranks 2 out of 28. So that is a very telling statistic. It'll be interesting to see how they perform over time. So ladies and gentlemen, we've gone through a ton of information that takes years to accumulate. So I hope you appreciate it, and I hope people are doing okay. But let's talk about Fantom versus Cardano across our 30 different parameters and see how it all scores. And this is the real money shot here, ladies and gentlemen. You can see Fantom is in red, Cardano is in blue. I hope those colors are not offensive. And you can see that in 3 cases, there was a draw. And that was the distance from all-time high, bang on 91%. Fees, very similar. And breadth of dApps, very similar. And then when you look at the others, you can see Cardano wins 8 out of 30, and Fantom wins 23 out of 30. So that is the score, ladies and gentlemen. And the end of the day, well, I look at his data, as I mentioned at the beginning, crypto is not rational. Nobody does this work. But there will come a day when crypto is analyzed like the way I analyze stocks. And that's the way I find winning stocks early, because I do all the heavy work up front. Over time, this will prove to be right. So the question is Cardano 12 times better than Fantom because it has 12 times the market cap of Fantom? The answer is heck no. So hope nobody's offended by that, but it's just data. So with that, everybody, thank you for everybody on Patreon. Hope the team liked the results. And I will see you all on the inside. Thank you as well to the mods in the chat. And also welcome to a lot of the new members as well. We had a lot of people join yesterday. So thank you all, everybody. I'll see you all tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed this. Oh, by the way, big show tomorrow. Raul Paul is on the channel, and we're going to be talking everything. So it's been a while since I've had him on, but it's going to be a great show tomorrow. So make sure you're subscribed and turn on your little bell thing to get alerted for that live banger of a show. Thanks all. Bye.